In this video, I'll show you how to identify escrow junk fees. I'll show you different types of fees charged by escrow companies, what those fees are called, and whether or not they're junk fees or justified. Now, I owned an escrow company for several years, so I'm very familiar with the different types of fees charged by escrow companies and what those fees are used for. And I'll explain what those are on some closing statements I have here. Now, I have redacted closing statements because certainly I don't want to share any sort of private information related to a transaction, nor do I want to single out any escrow companies because I'm not trying to trash escrow companies in this video. I know escrow companies have it hard. They have their work cut out for them. There's a lot of overhead ranging from regulatory compliance all the way down to paying salaries to escrow officers. So certainly I know that they need to charge fees to stay in business, but I do want to explain what those fees are because they itemize these fees out and sometimes they're just straight up junk fees. So I'm going to show you what to look for. Now I have this first closing statement, and let's start with the sub-escrow fee because this is unique, especially to Southern California, because in most of the country and in Northern California, escrow is conducted at the title company. The title company has an escrow division. But in Southern California, for some strange reason, escrow companies are often independent, standalone, and separate of the title company. So you'll see on a transaction in Southern California that title will be one company and escrow will be another. Well, what agents don't know is that title is still doing a lot of escrow work. Title is coordinating wire transfers. Title is communicating with the county and recording documents. So when you ask the title company to work with some other escrow company, you're adding another link in the chain or another cog in the wheel. And for that inconvenience, title companies charge a sub-escrow fee. So you'll see the sub-escrow fee here. Now, it's not a lot of money, but it's $63 that each party is going to pay because you chose or they chose to use a separate standalone escrow company. So that's kind of a convenience or inconvenience fee charged by title companies. Now, moving on to escrow, you'll see that escrow companies charge what they call either a settlement agent fee or just an escrow fee, which is a fee, or you could even argue a commission, because the fee's based on the sales price. Usually there's some sort of calculation like a base of $250 plus $250 for or $2.50 for every 1,000 of the sales price. There's usually some formula of $250 or $300 as a base plus $2.50 or $3 for every 1,000 of the sales price, and then they come to some sort of fee that correlates to the sales price. And so you'll see this here. Now, the big question is, what else is being added to the settlement fee? Now, I actually don't like saying this is junk or this is justified because I think there's a little bit more nuance to that. But if you want to define junk fees as a fee titled to go for some other service, but it's really just a settlement agent fee or an escrow fee, well, you can call them junk fees. And so here we see a document preparation fee, which is very common and arguably a junk fee because this doc prep fee is just part of the escrow fee. This $50 goes right into the same pot as this one. Now, same with this FTB 593 processing fee. That's a tax form for the Franchise Tax Board. That's a state tax form, $45. There's no $45 check that escrow has to turn around and mail to the FTB. So these two fees go right into the same escrow fee. Now, we do have this overnight shipping cost, and escrow companies have huge shipping bills. And so this fee, you could argue, is highly justified. They're probably losing money on this because they're, of course, spending far more than this on shipping usually. So they are turning around and paying a shipping company for overnighting a bunch of documents. I mean, usually at the end of an escrow, there's a stack of overnight mail. And when I owned an escrow company, many nights I would leave and grab a huge stack that was on the receptionist desk in the very front. And I'd take that, I have to drive to some random shipping depot and drop all these off so they could be overnighted. Now, also note here that closing statements are like an accounting ledger. And you see that they have to charge the full amount here, but they gave this seller a discount. They put this on the other side as a crediting back here, because even though they have this full fee here that's debited from the seller's proceeds, they have to credit this back to give the seller a discount. Now this was a dual agency transaction. I'm going to scroll down to what the buyer's closing statement shows. Of course, you're going to see that same sub-escrow fee because this was a Southern California transaction and a standalone separate escrow is used for that hassle, for that inconvenience. The title company is charging the sub-escrow fee. Now we have this same escrow company fee here, effectively a commission, loan tie-in fee, just like the doc prep, and they have a doc prep fee. So these two fees right here are arguably junk fees. Now, of course, any escrow company would say, well, no, I mean, we have all sorts of hassles and administrative things. Sure, it's going to the same pot. It's still income to your company. So loan tie-in fee, you see that with buyers that are getting a mortgage. And that fee is going right in there to the escrow fee, the settlement agent fee. Same thing, the commission or the escrow fee, along with doc prep. Then they have overnight shipping, and that's a hard cost being passed on. That's a pass-through fee. So that's not going to the escrow. That's not going to the escrow fee. The escrow will collect it as income, but I mean, they're turning around and immediately paying a shipping bill with that. So you could say that's more of a justified fee. Whereas this, what it comes down to, and I think what a lot of agents are looking at, is escrow is itemizing fees to make the escrow fee look smaller. And so you'll look at this and say, oh, well, there's a loan tie-in fee. That must go to some mortgage company or something. Well, no, that's not the case. I mean, this is all the escrow fee. They're just making this fee look smaller by itemizing it or parsing out these other fees and giving them some title like this or that $593 fee we saw on the other page. Let's jump over to another one. Okay, so here we're looking at the title charges. When you see that sub-escrow fee, because Southern California transaction, they used a standalone separate escrow. They added another link in the chain of settlement. And so they're being charged, both buyer and seller are being charged this fee right here. And then we come down to escrow charges. Now they're straight out saying escrow fee, which is easier than settlement agent fee. It's a little bit lengthier to say. Escrow fee, short and sweet. Loan tie-in fee, well, we know that's just something that they charge buyers, but it's still going to the escrow fee. It's all going to the same pot. Archive fee, same thing. It's made up. I mean, yes, there's archiving. There's all sorts of costs. I mean, if you called me when I was running my escrow company and said, why are you charging an archive fee? I didn't, by the way, but I would say, oh, well, we pay for a storage company to archive everything electronically in some sort of secure encrypted fashion, and we have a fee per file. But really, there's fees to run a business. All this here that I just highlighted, this is all the escrow fee. Again, it's itemized out to make the escrow fee look smaller. Instead of having a $2,000 something escrow fee, you have a $1,800 something escrow fee. See how this looks smaller? It's like at a grocery store. It's not $3 and something, it's $2.99. It looks smaller because there's a 2 as a first digit. Same idea. These are itemized and parsed out to make it look smaller. But loan tie-in fee is just a made-up name for an escrow fee that they charge buyers getting a mortgage. Archive fee, same idea. Messenger fee. Now that's justified because the escrow company's not pocketing this. I mean, yes, it's payable to the escrow company. The escrow company's getting it as income in their general account, but they're turning around and they're paying the messenger probably more. They're paying overnight. They're paying for wires. So this they're not getting any of. So I would argue this is not part of the escrow fee. This is not part of the escrow fee or commission. Let's jump to another one. We have another sub-escrow fee because people didn't choose to use the escrow company at a title company, which in my opinion is the most efficient. And both buyer and seller are paying this $63. Not a lot of money, especially relative to a California real estate transaction. Not a life-altering sum of money, but hey, it's $63, right? Okay, escrow fees. We have the escrow fee here. Loan tie-in, well, at this point, you already know that's just part of the escrow fee that they've split off to make this. Look how we're under $2,000 here, so it's easier to swallow. Well, the escrow fee was under $2,000. Well, was it? No, it wasn't. It was $2,300 or so because you have to add in the loan tie-in fee. Email document delivery, that's made up. That's a made-up term. This is all an escrow fee. This is all one number that's been parsed out and itemized to make that number look smaller. Okay, let's look at one more. Settlement agent escrow fee, okay, under $2,000, so it's an easier pill to swallow. Doc prep fee, We now know doc prep is just the escrow fee. It's been split off to make the escrow fee look smaller. HOA processing fee. This is the same thing. Now, there are HOA fees, but they're not these escrow charges right here. This whole section is going right to the escrow company. What I'm telling you is, if you wanted to look at each of these line items, you can look at it as, is this going to the escrow company's pocket? Is this a fee or commission to the escrow company? Or is this a hard cost? And I'm saying this HOA processing fee is commission to the escrow company. This HOA processing fee and doc prep get added right on here. And now that escrow fee is over $2,000. It's a larger number. Do you see how it works? This number is being reduced by itemizing this with just this is arbitrary verbiage. It's made up. Yes, there's HOA processing. Yes, there's doc prep. Yes, there's paperwork management fee. Yes, there's document storage fee. But that's all the normal course of conducting escrow business. Now, wire processing fee down here, this is a hard cost for the escrow company. So you could argue this is not just going right into their pocket. Messenger overnight fee, same idea. These are hard costs for the escrow company. So down here, this $120, escrow's not enjoying any of that. All up here, this is all the escrow fee. So now you should have a better idea as to what the escrow company is actually charging as their settlement agent or escrow fee. I do hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Thank you for watching.